Hey guys, Todd Anderson here for another Verge video along with Brian Brown doing.
What's up?
And today we're going to be playing some more Standard with Khans of Tarkir. Now, today I'm getting a little crazy. I'm playing something that I tried out a little while back that didn't really work out so well. Now we got a few more cool tools to interact with, but I'm going to be playing Sultai Reanimator. And now for those of you who aren't familiar with the wedges from Khans of Tarkir yet, Sultai is just bug or black, blue, and green. This deck's pretty cool. I don't know, I haven't really played it very much yet. Actually, I've played it zero, I'll be candid. Brian's going to be playing what we have dubbed Abzan Junk.
Yeah, it is a Abzan deck that's junk.
Yeah.
Or it's a junk deck with Abzan cards.
Yeah, either way you want to put it. But
yeah.
the joke there, in case you didn't know, a long time ago, black, green, and white decks started to become referred to as junk decks because they just played a bunch of junk, like good cards that didn't really have a lot of synergy. And now that the term junk has just translated into black, green, and white decks. But now we have Abzan to refer to, but we don't really know what to call it other than like something boring like mid-range, so it's just Abzan Junk.
Yeah, because I mean the deck's still junk.
Yeah,
like, it's a bunch of just junk.
There's a pile of cards. We call it Abzan Pile.
Yeah.
That's fine. Anyway, we're going to do a deck tech on both decks, but we'll start off with Sultai Reanimator. Let's take a look. All right, to start off with, we have a lot of mana acceleration with Elvish Mystic and Sylvan Caryatid. I think this is going to be pretty much the start to most green decks in the format as Mystic, Caryatid, Corsair, Crufix, as we've discussed at length. But the cards that I'm also using to help hit land drops as well as fill up my graveyard is Satyr Wayfinder. This guy is phenomenal in this kind of an archetype. He allows you to put things like Ashen Rider into your graveyard while helping you hit your land drops to make sure you can actually cast your bigger spells later in the game. But it also is a body so that you can convoke Endless Obedience. And I think that the fact that he kind of turns into another mana guy for Endless Obedience is huge when your goal is to bring an Ashen Rider into play on around turn 4 or 5. The biggest addition to the deck, and one of the main reasons why we're playing blue, is Sidisi Brood Tyrant. You know, it's important to note that her abilities can never make more than one zombie at a time.
Yeah.
But they trigger off of anything that puts creatures from your library into your graveyard. So when she comes into play, you mill 3, you hit a creature, you get a guy, you attack, hit a creature, get a guy, play a Satyr Wayfinder, play a Commune with the Gods, hit a creature, you get a guy. And those guys actually end up building up into a pretty sweet army, which makes things like Whip of Erebos good. It gives you sacrifice things, fodder for rescue from the underworld, and it also makes you able to convoke Endless Obedience a little bit better. The next new card we're going to be using from Khans of Tarkir is Sultai Charm, and this card I like because of its versatility, but also because it's a fairly cheap discard outlet that lets you see more pieces of your deck. Instant speed, you get to draw 2, discard 1, so if you ever draw one of your Ashen Riders, you can get rid of it. The thing about Ashen Rider with this deck, we don't actually have that many white lands. We're actually only able to cast it if we have either both Mana Confluences in play or some combination of Sylvan Caryatid with Mana Confluence to get the 2 white mana. I'm kind of gambling a little bit with that, but I think it might be okay. I played a reasonable amount of block constructed where I only had 3 lands that tap for white mana and 4 Sylvan Caryatid, and I was able to cast Ashen Rider on turn 6 or 7 like pretty often because once Sylvan Caryatid comes into play, it doesn't die very easily.
Yep.
But lastly, Commune with the Gods to help fill up the graveyard, help us find more copies of Sidisi, or just more Satyr Wayfinders to help keep the milling strategy going. Mana base is work in progress, as most mana bases are right now. We all of our 3-color decks just have a plethora of mana dual lands available to us, so it's kind of hard to figure out the right combination, but I'm playing 7 green Pain lands to help me cast Elvish Mystic on turn 1. That way I can play either Caryatid into a tap land or play Corsair Crufix on turn 2. We have 2 copies of Urborg to help us take a little less damage from our Mana Confluences and our Yavimaya Coast and other Pain lands whenever we have something like Whip of Erebos, hard casting Ashen Rider. It's basically just better than Swamp, and I think a second one helps you cast your black spells a little bit better. Drawing 2 is obviously a non-bow though. And then we have for Temple of Malady. Again, I want it to be base black-green with just a splash of blue. And I think we're okay with that with just the 10 sources with Coast, Confluence, Palace, as well as Caryatid. And we could actually find the blue source quite easily with Satyr Wayfinder if at all necessary. All right, guys. Well, that's the main deck for Sultai Reanimator. Let's take a look at the sideboard. All right, guys, so our sideboard here is pretty straightforward. We have 4 Thoughtseizes to help out against the control decks that are inevitable in the format. 4 copies of Nylea's Disciple, which are great against the aggressive decks. We can find them actually quite easily with Commune with the Gods, and we have a lot of cheap green creatures early on to increase our green devotion count to actually gain a lot of life. Second copy of Whip of Erebos against decks where we actually either need the life gain or games that are going to go super long, so we can keep rebuying, either Satyr Wayfinders to fill our graveyard up or just to bring back Ashen Rider for a turn. 2 copies of Reclamation Sage. Similar reason behind Nightly Disciple. Very good at killing things like Banishing Light, Opposing Whips of Erebos, all sorts of good artifacts and enchantments, and we can find it with Commune. And then 4 Murderous Cut for matchups like this, where we just need to kill everything.
Need to cut something.
Yeah, need to cut you so bad.
Wish I didn't cut
Wish
you.
I didn't cut you so bad. Against Brian's deck, he's going to be playing, what's her name?
Anna Finza.
Anna Finza.
The Foremost.
The Foremost.
That will be your foremost target for Murderous Cut.
That is definitely true. All right, guys. Well, that's going to be all for Sultai Reanimator. Let's take a look at Brian's deck. Stay tuned.